Hello everyone, I want to give you guys an update on this Radical Firearms 7.5 inch pistol upper. I mentioned this just yesterday in the video that I did. So I bought this at the end of 2015, like I think it was like maybe October or September. And this was the year that Hillary was going to win the election, and we were never going to buy another AR-15 again. So companies were, basically everybody was like in a rush to buy their last AR-15s, and companies were just like basically slapping these things together and just like throwing them out the door as quickly as they could. So I got this one, and it was really expensive at the time. I mean, with the upper and the lower together, it was like it was like $950. And I've always had terrible accuracy with this, and I just shot this again yesterday, and I got something like 6 inches at 50 yards. Okay, so that's like 12 MOA. So because the accuracy on this has always been so bad, I decided that I was going to turn this 7.5 inch into a 13 inch. Okay, because somebody gave me this 13-inch barrel as a gift. And what I was going to do is my goal was to basically swap barrels and put this one in there. So this came with a nice rail too. So that's my goal. These two are going to go on this upper receiver. And again, the thing is, like, this is the third 7.5 inch that I have, and the other two that I have basically shoot like 4 MOA at 100 yards, right, in the 7.5 inch barrel. So today I said, hey, let me start taking this apart, because I'm planning to use this upper receiver with this barrel, right, and who knows what problems I might run into. Okay, so the first problem I had was getting the screws out that hold this rail in place. It's got a lot of screws. It's got like was it 2, 4, 6? It's got 8 screws. So first of all, I think these were coming loose at some point, so I had Loctited them in. I might have used red Loctite. Again, this is back in like 2015. So I ended up having, first of all, I completely stripped out an Allen key that I had, one of the cheaper sets. So I used this one. This one came from Aerial Precision. What it is, I locked this into a vise, and I was able to undo these, and I was lucky because there was a good chance that I might have actually broken the screws in there, but I did get them all out. So rail comes off. Okay, so this is that gigantic muzzle device. It's called a Spitfire. Okay, that came with this. So this is interesting. This actually is. I'm surprised the ATF never came down on this, because this technically has a cone over here, and this kind of is like a quasi suppressor, right? So it's like a single baffle suppressor. So I'm surprised they never came after this. So I've had, like I said, terrible accuracy with this. I always kind of thought that maybe it was this muzzle device here that was throwing off the accuracy. So I got this off, okay, and get this off. So the next thing I did is I got I went to take the gas tube off, and immediately as soon as I went to like pull the gas tube off, I just went like a little bit like this on the barrel nut, and I felt a little movement on the barrel nut. Okay, so I loosened this thing up. Obviously, I've done this before, so I kind of put it together for the benefit of you guys. So there's the gas tube, right? That comes off. Okay, so I may end up using the gas block, or I might get another one. I'll see. So now, barrel nut over here. Without using any tools, I was able to just hold this and twist this off. So that was the problem. Okay, the barrel nut was not on tight enough. So the thing with this style of a barrel nut over here, right? And there's no way they could have tightened this up. Basically, what they failed to do here is put a spacer in there, or a forgot what it's called, a barrel shim. Okay, because what happens is, because of the way this barrel nut goes on, right, the gas tube, right, once it goes on, it has to go through that groove over there. Okay, so there's no way that you can get this thing tighter, because if you get this thing, like let's say you put this in a torque wrench and you torque it down to like 40 or 50 pounds, you're not going to get it tight enough that you actually jump that far over. Okay, so what's going to happen is, if you make this just a little bit tighter, the gas tube is now no longer going to fit through that groove. So what this would have needed was a barrel shim, right? They would have had to put a spacer in there, so that when it lines up just a little bit off, and then you use your torque wrench and then just force it over, and then the spacer compresses a little bit, and now you get a barrel that's actually tight. So this explains why this upper had terrible accuracy. And I was thinking that maybe it was this muzzle device here, but it's not. It wasn't the muzzle device. It was that the barrel wasn't like really torqued down the way it was supposed to be torqued down. And I mean, I've bought other rifles from Radical Firearms, and they're all great. I blame this on, hey, it was like 2015. I think the company was new, and they were like rushing out orders, and basically somebody just slapped this together without putting the proper barrel, the proper spacer in there, so that this thing can be torqued down properly. Now, you're not supposed to put like Loctite or anything like this. You're supposed to actually put grease. So because this is going to get hot and it's going to seize up. So the only thing that's supposed to hold this down in place is the torque. So the only reason why this thing hadn't like completely undone itself is because the gas tube was actually I'm sorry, the gas tube was actually holding this in place. It was kind of locking this in place, and then the rail also, the way the rail locks into place, it's an anti-rotational rail. So that, and then this was screwing into the barrel nut, so that was keeping the barrel nut from completely coming undone. Which if it had come undone, at least I would have known that, hey, okay, that's the problem. I'm actually kind of surprised. I expected this to be a lot heavier, but yeah, it looks like they got holes going all the way through this. Yeah, I expected this to be a lot heavier, just because I thought this was adding a lot of weight, but it's not. This is actually pretty light. But then the barrel just easily presses in. So that easily presses in, and then let's try the new barrel, because sometimes these things don't exactly go in so snug. So this is going to be the barrel that goes in there. Yeah, and that goes in real nice. So, you know what I could do? I could no, because I don't have I've ordered the gas tube, because I was kind of getting ahead of myself here. I was going to try and, well, I could shoot this as a single shot. I was kind of getting ahead of myself here to see how accurate this barrel is, but you know, I'll just wait until the proper gas tube comes in, so that I have enough reach to actually run this. But this is I don't know which company this is from. It doesn't say it on there. There it is. But this is, I think, one of the better ones. Again, somebody gave it to me as a gift, because they were in a state where they couldn't have this, and they kind of had to get rid of it. So I'm the fortunate beneficiary of this. But you know, I'll do other things to help them out. Basically, I'll pay him back in other ways in kind. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, so now I'm going to have a 13-inch AR pistol. It's still going to be a pistol, right? Because it's going to have to go on a braced lower. Okay, you can see, yeah, you definitely need that barrel nut, because if it's not tight, I mean, I can just go like this and I can see it'll move a little bit. So that solves the mystery of why apparently this barrel, or this, was not accurate. And it wasn't the barrel, it was just the barrel was not properly attached to the upper. Now I am going to get a different barrel nut that is not going to be dependent on. It's not going to. Basically, it's going to be the type where the this comes over the barrel nut rather than through it, so I don't have to mess with timing and stuff like that, and it should fit together a lot nicer. So I'm going to get a different barrel nut, and also this rail, the one I want to use, is this one over here, is not going to marry up with this barrel nut, and it kind of makes sense that, you know, it makes sense to match up the barrel nut and the rail. What I did is I ordered a barrel nut with the rail. It was from Prisma. It was like something like $35. So in case that barrel nut doesn't match up with this rail, well, you know, it came with the rail, so I'll just use the other rail, because that is a possibility. There's a possibility that it might not match. This seems to be like a more standard design that kind of locks in the bottom over here. So I think that the two will be compatible, but if they're not, that's no big deal, because I'm ordering the barrel nut and the rail. So no matter what happens, one way or another, I'll get this thing. I'll get this thing together with some rail on it, you know, and I'll have a working gun. So there it is, guys. That solves the mystery of why this barrel was giving me like 12 MOA. So drop some comments. Let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you all soon.